So tonight is the Q&A session. Okay, now we start off with the Q&A, and there's a number of people devotees has sent up the question. Let me go through the question here. Can the Vipassanā, the practice of Vipassanā can quickly handle our mental suffering than the bodily suffering? Now here is hard to answer your question. Perhaps I may answer it in this way. If you are talking about the extreme type of mental suffering, extreme type over here, let me put it as like you're going through anxiety, or you're going through a depression, or you're going through some kind of grief and a difficult time, your mental health is being affected right now. Actually, mental suffering, So you're going through an extreme form of mental suffering. Now, when you're going through an extreme form of mental suffering, I do not recommend you to go and practice Vipassanā or any form of intensive form of meditation. You may do some very light form of meditation, more like mindfulness practice rather than a Vipassanā practice. Sometimes this mindfulness thing can be helpful, but you're not going deeper into noting this, noting that, noting pain, noting this. You don't go into that. If you go into that, it may enhance the suffering even more difficult. When you look at Vipassanā development, it's like as if you're carrying weight, If your arm is already broken, how do you expect somebody going to carry the weights up further? You're going to have a more problem. So mental suffering also, extreme mental suffering, we don't recommend them to do Vipassanā. So if you're having depression and you ask me to teach you, I cannot do that. This is not my area. So this is the area of a very soft, gentle, and sometimes you also need somebody to guide you, even you're doing this, because you are going into the mind. There's some degree of injury, mental injury is happening inside there. So you need some very light type of meditation, one of to help you to overcome that suffering. Now, if you have just normal everyday suffering or mental suffering, like you have a little bit of anger here and there, you go to work, you got stress, you got a family, you got a bit of stress here and there, and then you can still able to do Vipassanā. You still can do Vipassanā meditation. That is not big a problem. You got to have some greed issue, you have some anger issue. Sometimes this Vipassanā can quickly actually overcome the problem. But for some people, it may take some time. So different people, again, have a different tendency of the development. So it's not so easy just to suddenly turn into a new leaf, You're completely this one. Vipassanā is not a cure-all thing. It's just a cure your defilements only. Now, bodily suffering on the Vipassanā level, that again is even slower. A lot of times, sometimes we thought that we go through a Vipassanā thing, and we can able to cure our cancer and all that thing. Although there are a few here and there, also actually far in between, that some yogis, they thought that Vipassanā helps them. Because like in Dhamma Therapy, written by Mahasi Sayadaw, there's a number of cases are there. But there are only a number of cases, but imagine we got millions of, maybe got yogis or millions of meditators. How many of us able to cure our bodily suffering? So it may not be so fast, but at least it can help you to have a stable mental state, for you to able to accept all the different types of bodily suffering that you're going to go through. Rather than reject it, rather than get angry about it, then the mental acceptance is so much more there. And therefore, at least the Buddha says, you only have one arrow shooting at you only. The one arrow is only to shoot your body only, not the second arrow doesn't shoot the mind. That's one sutta I forgot. What is the sutta? So when your mind is developed, well developed, then you can handle the bodily suffering better. And if you have a mental suffering, you can overcome the mental suffering much more quicker than the bodily suffering. But if you have an extreme one, as I said, if you have a strong mental suffering, then it's not easy. If you have like cancer and the bodily suffering and so on, it's also not that easy. Yeah? Don't expect that Vipassana is a cure-all thing. Yeah? Talking about, since we are in this, I've met with yogis of the past, once or a while, twice. They come and practice Vipassana, and they're going through certain anger, certain cancer, And then after that, after some time, they overcome their cancer. Then good. Good for them. I mean, we're happy for them. But then, Vipassana also stopped there. No more. Because they use the Vipassana is just to overcome that bodily suffering. It's not to overcome all the defilements and realization of Nibbana. No, they're not doing they don't want that. And many people do that. Wrong objective. Wrong objective.